Just need to stop by Joann's Fabric and pick up some backing for the baby quilt. Hey guys, welcome back to Do It Yourself Sis. I'm Monay. So my son and I are going to head into Joann's Fabric to pick up some backing for this baby quilt that I'm going to make. So stay tuned and we'll catch back up in a minute. Here is all of the materials I am going to use for this project. I'll make sure to have everything linked in the description bar below. So guys, here is my fabric squares I'm going to use for this project. I'm going to pick 2 fabric squares out. They're going to be 2 different colors, and I'm going to face them upright together, and I'm going to pin them all around the square. Now I'm ready to start sewing. I am going to sew all 4 sides of the square. Using my ruler, I'm going to draw an X in the middle of my stitched square. Now I'm going to cut my square in equal halves. Make sure you follow your lines you just drew. Now I'm ready to open up all of my half square shapes and iron them. So guys, this is the fun part. You can create any pattern you want. I always like to create this diamond pattern where my first row is 2 opposite colors and then my bottom row is the same 2 colors but opposite of each other. And I really love doing this pattern. It looks really nice together. And you can choose any pattern design you want. You can have fun with it and get as creative as you want with the color arrangement. So I'm going to bring my 2 pieces of fabric facing each other upright, and I'm going to make sure that my middle seam is facing each other to make sure that my diamond shape is even. So now I am just ironing open all of my squares, and ironing is a really important step to do because you don't want your quilt to have any crazy creases or any bulky pieces of fabric rising up. So you want to make sure that you get all of these squares nice and flat. So guys, now I'm going to start sewing my quilt top together. So I already know how I want my pattern to be. So now you see me just basically sewing the pattern together. And you're going to see in the next clip how I kind of started to lay my fabrics out on the floor to kind of get an idea of how I wanted it to look. So I'm just going to grab my ruler and I'm going to make sure that my quilt top is completely squared. So I'm just going to trim off any uneven pieces of fabric. So here are the colors I chose for my border. So now I'm ready to pin down my border. Just make sure that your pattern is facing each other. So at all four corners of my border, I have extra pieces of fabric hanging off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pin it because I'm going to sew the corners together because it makes it easier for me to make this V shape, and you'll see in the next clip. The reason why I do this extra step is because it helps me make this V shape border. So I'm basically going to fold that piece of fabric under, and then I'm going to iron that crease and pin it, and then I'm just going to follow that crease as I sew it down. Now I'm going to attach my quilt top to my batten with my adhesive spray. Now it's time to attach everything to the backing with the adhesive spray. Now I'm going to single stitch all of the layers together. So you guys, we are almost to the finish line. So I'm going to use 4 pieces of border fabric. Once I have all of my pieces stitched together, I'm going to pin it to my quilt to create my binding. Last but not least, I'm going to fold over once my binding and I'm going to pin it and sew it. So guys, this is the finished baby quilt. It turned out really nice. So I was definitely testing the waters with this project because I haven't sewn a baby quilt in 6 years. So I still have some things I need to work on. And I would like to learn a lot more about quilting and making patterns. So thanks you guys for tuning in for this project. I really enjoyed making it and we hope to see you next time. Bye!
Blushing.